I will note that on Monday night, ALPA President Jason Ambrosi was served with a lawsuit on behalf of experienced pilots who are healthy, trained, have the most number of flight hours, and are willing and eager to continue flying. The lawsuit alleges that ALPA has lied time and time again in its advocacy against raising the retirement age. Democrats on this committee will likely cite a letter from Administrator Whitaker sent earlier this week saying the FAA would like to study this issue before Congress raises the age. One, I think it was inappropriate for the FAA to wade into a policy debate, no doubt at the behest of Democrats. Administrator Whitaker sat at this table and promised this committee he would stay out of politics, and I think he has fallen short of that promise in sending that letter. Two, on Tuesday, Administrator Whitaker found himself before the House of Representatives and in hot water for breaking his promise when he was confirmed. And here's what Administrator Whitaker said about the FAA's position on raising the retirement age. Quote, "The official position is we don't have a position." I want to read that again because I suspect there may be members who want to characterize the FAA otherwise. Here's what the administrator said yesterday. Quote, "The official position is we don't have a position." I'll close with this. A mandatory retirement age at the age of 65 is ageist. It suggests that once a pilot turns from 64 years and 364 days to 65 years old, they are somehow no longer competent. That is why the AARP and hundreds of pilots have signed letters in support of raising the retirement age, which I also ask unanimous consent to enter into the record.
Without objection.
I'll note half of this committee, 13 members out of 27, would be forced into retirement today if this rule applied to Congress. The median age of the United States Senate is 65.3 years, meaning more than half of this body would be forced to retire. Now, the American people might well celebrate that development, but I am confident that extending such a policy to this body would not win a vote in Congress, even though more than 80% of the public supports term limits for members of Congress, and I have introduced a term limits constitutional amendment in Congress multiple times. I might suggest when we vote on this amendment that any senators over the age of 65 refrain from voting because they may not be capable of deciding the issue.